The sands of Egypt hold many secrets. For thousands of years, they have covered temples and tombs, hiding stories that challenge everything we think we know about our past. We look at the Great Pyramids, marvels of engineering that stand as silent witnesses to a forgotten age. We study the hieroglyphs, intricate symbols that tell tales of gods, pharaohs, and empire that touch the heavens. But what if the greatest story of all has been overlooked? What if, buried deeper than any pharaoh's treasure, lies a truth so profound it could rewrite history? This is not a story of gold or jewels. It is a story of a visitor from a place far beyond our world. Imagine a time before the First Dynasty when the people of the Nile Valley were just beginning to build their civilization. They looked to the sky for answers, seeing their gods in the sun, moon, stars. Their world was one of myth and magic, a place where the divine walked among mortals. But according to a few scattered and cryptic texts, something extraordinary happened. A presence, unlike any god they had ever known, descended from the cosmos. It was a being of immense stature and brilliant light, a figure that defied all explanation. Was this a god? A demon? Or was it something else entirely? Something our modern minds might call an extraterrestrial? The truth, as they say, is often stranger than fiction. Ancient texts from cultures across the globe tell stories of fallen angels. These are beings of light who descended from the heavens, cast out for their rebellion or curiosity. They are often depicted as bringing forbidden knowledge to humankind. Take the Book of Enoch, which speaks of the Watchers. Angels came to earth and taught humanity the secrets of the cosmos. Metallurgy, the arts. These stories have long been interpreted through a religious lens, as allegories for the struggle between good and evil. But what if we look at them through a different lens? What if these angels were biological beings from another planet? The concept of an alien giant is not as far-fetched in this mythological context. A visitor from a world with different gravity might appear as a giant to us. Their technology, far beyond ours, could be mistaken for divine power. A ship descending in fire and light would be seen as a falling star. The being emerging could only be described as a god or an angel. This is the core of ancient astronaut theory. One legend suggests a fallen angel made its way to ancient Egypt. This being was not evil. It was a guide, a teacher, a benevolent force that saw potential. Perhaps an explorer, a scientist, or an exile, stranded and adapting. The fallen angel becomes a prime directive violator, an alien who interfered to guide us. In that transformation, the true story may have been lost, waiting for modern eyes to decipher the clues. Picture the Nile Valley in the pre-dynastic era, a fertile ribbon of life, surrounded by harsh desert. The people who lived there were skilled farmers, hunters, their lives governed by the cyclical flooding of the great river. Their beliefs were rooted in nature, the power of the sun god Ra, the life-giving waters of the Nile. It was into this world that the visitor arrived. One night, the tapestry of stars was torn apart by a new, brilliant light. A blazing orb grew larger and brighter, descended with a sound like rolling thunder, and came to rest in the silent desert. From this fallen star, a figure emerged. It was colossal, far taller than any man. It seemed to shimmer with an inner luminescence. The people who witnessed this event would have been struck with a profound sense of awe and terror. They had no frame of reference for such a being. It was not human, yet it had a familiar form. It was not an animal, yet it commanded a powerful presence. In their language, the only words that could describe it were those reserved for the gods. They saw a sky god, a divine messenger who had chosen their land, Kemet, as its new home. The arrival was a moment that would forever alter their destiny. This being did not behave like the vengeful gods or capricious gods of their myths. It was calm, deliberate, and intelligent. It communicated not through thunder and lightning, but through gestures, symbols, and eventually a form of telepathy or advanced language tutoring that bridged the gap between its mind and theirs. The initial fear of the Egyptians slowly transformed into curiosity and then into reverence. This giant from the stars was not a conqueror, it was a teacher. It marked the beginning of a new epoch, guiding them toward greatness. The giant's greatest contribution was not its imposing presence, but the knowledge it shared. It was a catalyst for an intellectual and technological revolution. The being saw the Egyptians' reliance on the unpredictable flooding of the Nile and introduced them to systematic agriculture. Irrigation canals, dikes, reservoirs allowing them to control the water, store it for dry seasons, and turn barren land into fertile fields. This mastery over their environment led to food surpluses, which, in turn, allowed for population growth and the specialization of labor. The foundation of a complex society was being laid, brick by brick, with alien guidance. Perhaps the most visible gift was the knowledge of architecture and engineering. The Egyptians had been building simple structures from mud and reeds, stonemasonry, mathematics, physics. It demonstrated how to quarry massive blocks of granite, transport them over great distances, and lift them to incredible heights with a precision that still baffles us today. The pyramids, temples, were not just tombs and places of worship. They were textbooks written in stone. Their perfect alignments with celestial bodies were a direct result of the astronomical knowledge bestowed upon them by their starborn mentor. This astronomical knowledge was another profound gift. The being taught the Egyptians to map the stars, to understand the cycle of the sun and moon, and to create a calendar of 365 days, the most accurate of the ancient world. The ceilings of tombs like that of Seti I, decorated with intricate astronomical charts, can be seen as a direct legacy of this off-world education. When we search for evidence of this alien giant, we must look not for a signed confession, but for the echoes of its presence in Egyptian culture. The historical record and the mythological narratives begin to blur, creating a fascinating tapestry of possibility. Consider the god Ptah, the creator deity of Memphis. He was known as a master craftsman, an architect of the universe, an inventor of the arts, and an inventor of the sciences. Could the myth of Ptah be a deified memory of the alien artisan who taught the Egyptians how to build their incredible monuments? We can also look at the physical achievements themselves. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, is a mathematical marvel. Its dimensions incorporate pi, its dimensions reference the golden ratio, and it is aligned to true north with astounding accuracy. Mainstream archaeology insists these feats were achieved with simple tools and immense manpower, but the precision is so perfect, so far beyond what should have been possible, that it invites speculation. Was this knowledge developed slowly over centuries, or was it delivered in a single revolutionary package? The legend of the giant teacher provides a compelling, if unconventional, answer to this enduring engineering enigma. The mythology is filled with other potential clues. The god Thoth, often depicted with the head of an ibis, was the divine scribe who brought writing, mathematics, and wisdom to humanity. He was the keeper of secrets, the master of knowledge. Legends say he authored thousands of books containing all the world's wisdom, including the legendary Emerald Tablets. The myth and the history are not separate, they may be two sides of the same incredible story. As we peel back the layers of myth, the figure of this giant ruler becomes clearer, yet the mystery deepens. The story is not just about advanced technology, it is about the relationship between a powerful being and a developing people. This was not a cold clinical transfer of data, it was a mentorship. The alien giant did not simply hand over blueprints for pyramids, it taught the principles behind them. It fostered a culture of learning, curiosity, spiritual depth. The awe it inspired was not just due to its size or power, but to its wisdom. It was a leader who ruled not by force, but by inspiration. The revelation here is that the supernatural elements of Egyptian history might have a natural, albeit extraterrestrial, explanation. This perspective does not diminish the achievements of the ancient Egyptians. Instead, it reframes them. They were brilliant innovators. They were receptive students, implementing cosmic lessons on a grand scale. They were partners in their own accelerated evolution, chosen by a visitor who saw their immense potential. The legend of the giant provides a narrative framework that fits the evidence in a uniquely satisfying way. Today is September 24th, 2025. Millennia have passed since the last stone was laid on the Giza Plateau, yet our fascination with ancient Egypt is stronger than ever. The legend of a giant teacher from the stars endures because it speaks to some of our deepest human questions. Where did we come from? Are we alone in the universe? These stories connect our distant past with a possible cosmic future, suggesting that humanity has always been part of a much larger, universal story. This particular legend inspires wonder because it touches on the profound idea of mentorship on a cosmic scale. The notion that a wiser, older civilization might have visited us, seen our spark, and offered a helping hand is incredibly hopeful. The mystery also serves as a powerful reminder of how much we still do not know. But the pyramids stand in silent defiance of our certainty. It keeps us wondering, and long as we wonder, we will continue to explore, to learn, and to reach for the stars.